Hi, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Colton, and as you may or may not be aware, I recently switched from full frame to micro four thirds. And my particular camera of choice was the OM Mark II, and when you go with an OM system camera, one of the major selling points is the computational photography that you are now capable of undertaking. What follows is my first time taking the camera out to use the live ND feature, the high-res shot, and the in-camera focus stacking. At the end, you'll come back here, we'll look at some of these photos I just finished editing, give you some of my thoughts, and why I'm very excited that I went with this camera. Kind of a spoiler. But for now, here's past me going to get the shots with the family, and I hope you enjoy.
He's mostly interested in the rocks and pebbles, but he can hear the waterfall, so he's saying waterfall. We're just waiting on his mom here. It's a little bit quieter, so we'll do the intro over again. This is my third time. Those are rocks, buddy. So many rocks. Today the goal is to take the OM-1 Mark II out and try three features. The first is the live ND. The second is going to be focus stacking. And the third is the handheld high-res mode. That is okay. Good throw, though. I know the high-res isn't really for moving objects, but I want to see what it does with the waterfall, if it maybe makes it look like it's in motion. And the focus stacking I'm also really interested in, because a lot of people find that hard in Adobe and Lightroom. Well, I don't find it difficult. It is a nice step to not have to do. So you'll see future me, little man, and the better half of me at the waterfall here shortly. Look forward to talking to them.
Hello.
So, there's probably 50 people there, and it doesn't really benefit me trying to talk over the roar of the waterfalls and other people to explain what's going on. So, once I get to the second overlook, get some more shots, and I'll spare you seeing me scramble up the rocks, and then we'll go to future me back at my home office, and we'll go over the settings I had, why I did what I did, and hopefully how the photos turned out. So I'll see you at the next overlook.
Probably like 15 minutes away. To the right, my friend.
So the falls I came from to the left there, and then there's actually some large birds of prey out over the rapids here. That'll be hard to see on the Osmo, but we'll see if I can get a picture of them. Wish me luck.
Alright, so I thought I'd start with the focus stacked images here. I'm not going to show the ND filter images until the end of the video because they frankly just look like I was using an ND filter, which is what you would want. But with the focus stacked images here, this is a error on the photographer's part, not on the camera. So I'm going to zoom in here and show you a couple of things. This is at 115%. These little black flecks you see here, that's one bird. But the series of images in the stack has turned it into that. And frankly, we're not as crisp here in the front as I would want, or as far back. I was a little hesitant because it was my first time using it. I only set it up as an 8 stack, 5 intervals, and I focused dead center of the image. And the way the stacking works is it does 2 focuses closer than when you're focused, and then whatever remains past that. So if I redid this in the future, I would focus closer, like say on this rock. I would maybe limit the number of stack I'm going to do and decrease the interval a little bit because I'm also shooting, pretty stop down f10 or so to try to get this foreground a bit crisper. If I had a tripod, I would go the opposite direction with that. You make it a 12 or higher stack. Decrease the interval, but still the same thing. I would focus closer. This isn't a bad image by any means, and none of these photos were taken for like a portfolio purpose. It was just testing. And this is the raw image. Here's it with a little bit of color grading. But yeah, not my favorite. These black dots you can see barely here. Just kind of don't work for me. What I was really surprised about, and what I'm excited about here, is the high-res modes. Now, I took several high-res photos, but I've selected 3 here, and these are the raw images. This first is the example of one that didn't work. If you look down here by this waterfall, this water clipping here and these kind of vertical lines through it, it just looks weird. Everywhere else is kind of okay. And then up here in this corner of the sky, something weird is going on. What I've found in the past whenever I was stacking images or stitching images is that I would move them to black and white, and you could often see things that you couldn't see in color. So watch what happens when I put this image to black and white. Look it up here. See this? This is that weirdness up there that you couldn't quite see before, where you've got these different shifts that I'm guessing was from the sensor stack. Why that happened with this image, I don't know. If you know, feel free to comment. It was very windy that day. I don't know if I moved, but this is still sky, and for it to do that is a little weird. Down here you can really notice this. Then let's look at this image. This image, in my opinion, is one that worked. Here you see we've got the mist coming off. It's kind of formed like clouds. I was really looking for that. Whether you like that or don't is kind of a personal preference, but this is heavily moving water, and the stack is just giving it like a long exposure look. And then again, this is the raw file. Here's it with some color grading. I don't particularly like this image in color, but I wanted to see if I saw anything weird in color. And then here's the black and white, which is what I enjoy the image in. And you don't see any of that really odd banding up in the sky. And then probably my favorite image that I took with the handheld high res is this one. This is a 50 megapixel image. This is flowing water at every angle. It's crisp everywhere. You don't see any odd banding. You don't see any oddness with any of the foreground here of these weeds and leaves. Even the water looks nice. And this is it with me having been able to recover so much of the shadows. and the highlights, and it's just, again, no tripod. This is something ridiculous like almost 40 megapixels. It's over 8K by 6K pixels. This image is essentially, for what I paid, a medium format image. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be Hasselblad quality out of an OM system camera. By no means. A true medium format image is going to be fantastic. But this is literally the third image I took with a handheld res. I'm hand holding, I have no tripod. This is all moving in the water, and it just gave us that lovely long exposure appearance. So I'm definitely going to practice a bit more. I'm going to try this out on some larger waterfalls, see what we get. I didn't think there was a point to do it on stationary mountains and trees. There's a lot of that on YouTube, but everyone's saying don't do it on anything that's moving, and I agree with them. I wouldn't be using this for sports or wildlife or anything like that, but situationally, for water, I mean, you be the judge. Do these really look atrocious? The waterfall here, like maybe here you could say that this stack, maybe, but I don't know. You guys be the judge. Like I said, I'll be including some of the live ND filter shots after this, and if you made it this far in the video, feel free to give me a like, subscribe, comment, dislike, whatever you feel. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.